I think in order to understand how I became an owner of the company, I need to start when I was in high school. I really enjoyed my high school years. I became heavily involved in outdoor recreation. I loved it so much that it was a detriment to my academic progress. And I sloughed a lot of school. Some of my fondest memories from high school have to do with our FFA program. And we had the best range judging team in the state for years running. I was involved in agriculture, in range, in the study of seed and understanding ecosystems in high school, but I was also sloughing a lot of school and spending time outside. Those two stories kind of come back together and connect in my mid-20s when I was married and decided to make the seed industry my quote-unquote official career. I became heavily involved in outdoor recreation. I love to mountain bike, I love to hike, I love to ski and snowboard, but my real passion was rock climbing. I lived in an area in the country where I didn't have easy access to rock climbing, at least not to developed areas. And so I made it kind of my goal in life to develop my own areas. And as it turns out, we had one of the greatest untapped jewels of the rock climbing world just a few miles away. I started rock climbing avidly in high school and in my early college years, and between me and a group of active developers, we developed this valley into what would later become a world destination climbing area. As I developed these local climbing areas, I decided that I wanted to publish a book, to write a guidebook, and I did that. And one book turned into 2, turned into 3, turned into 4, and then I wrote a couple of ice climbing guides. And what that did for me is it developed some desktop publishing skills and some graphic experience that I would later apply in my professional career. That kind of set the stage for me building a skill set that was useful to the family business. So I moved away to college with my wife, Christy, and I graduated with a degree that has absolutely nothing to do with agriculture. I have a bachelor's of Parks and Recreation Administration and a minor in Spanish. As I approached graduation, I got a call from our founder and my father, Lloyd, who said, "Hey, I think that your desktop publishing skills, your graphic skills, and your computer wizardry would be really beneficial to the business." I decided not to pursue a career in the field that I had just received a diploma in, and came back home and worked for the family business and went straight to work designing product packaging, flyers and catalogs. I taught myself FileMaker Pro database language, wrote some databases to manage our inventories and some of our print services, and started the long learning curve that's associated with the complexity of the seed industry. You have to be really well versed in a lot of different things. You're a seed producer, you're a grower, you're in production, you're in cleaning, you're in sales, you're a business owner. Any one of those things might be a full-time job for one person, but we've figured out how to do it with just limited resources and a very small staff. That was really the beginning of my career, my transition from my academic life into full-time work. When I landed in the seed company in 2001, Dad was still using the same infrastructure that he used in the 1970s. We had a hodgepodge of old, worn-down equipment, antiquated equipment, some of it dangerous. We had old mixers and things that were still driven by a PTO from a tractor. I kind of took an assessment of the situation, and as I began to learn the ropes, I proposed that we might want to bring some of this stuff into the new millennium. So I went to work cleaning out an old warehouse and getting it ready to install a dust collection system and a new and at the time state-of-the-art seed cleaning machine. And it was a big step for us. It was kind of maybe passing the mantle in a way from one generation to the next, where Dad just let me take control of the cleaning processes and some of the production and said, all right, if this is what you want to do, you run with it. As time moved on in those early 2000s, we added more and more machines and more technology and more capabilities, and that allowed us to bring on new products that we hadn't carried before and reach into new markets. But it really set us up for what we call the big fire years, starting in the mid-2000s, 2006, 2007, when there was a really dramatic spike in the occurrence of wildfires in the West. The need for native seeds skyrocketed in those few years. And we were really well set up to take care of that and to serve that industry. Those years from the late 1990s to about 2010 were years of a lot of growth for us, a lot of infrastructure, a lot of new technology. And for me, it was also the years where our founder, Lloyd, gave me the freedom to kind of take the reins and start to build a business that was familiar to me, one that I recognized, one that I built, and ideas and concepts and machinery and processes that I had some ownership over. And it was kind of the beginning of the next phase of our business.